Welcome to Spill the Tea, where musicians tell nothing but the truth about gigging life. Joining me today, I don't have one but two amazing guests. Amongst the many things they can do so well, they are singers, singer-songwriters. They are both part of the London International Gospel Choir. Everybody make some noise for Christina and Calvin, also known as Koekoe Remetik, everyone. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having us.
How are you?
Excited!
You look really excited. I'm loving the vibes.
Yeah, we're really happy to be here. This place is great.
Thank you so much. Pam always it's love at first sight. Everybody who comes.
The smell is distracting me.
I know you
The
guys.
smell of fresh bakery scones.
I told you. That
Even
it's
this-
just
this
like,
tea just-
if you need one reason to come here, it's because you need to smell the scones.
Listen, I'll be back.
Right, please. Let's meet here every day,
Let's do
every
it.
week.
Let's do
Let's
it.
do it.
Find the time of the day.
You not only are part of the choir of London International Gospel Choir, but you are also a associate musical director. Yeah,
Correct.
So how is it to direct a choir? Was it super easy? Did you feel ready from the start, or what is the major challenge you had to face?
Oh, absolutely. So I wouldn't say it was as easy. So I started as part of the choir. So I'm really attached to choir when it comes to community. That's where I met Kelvin. That's where I met most of my best friends these days, really. And it's been 3 or 4 years, something like
Wow.
that. So there's an element of that really makes me feel like I am part of the choir rather than just directing. Initially, I was only directing the professional part of the choir, dealing with corporate events, and then I was also directing the main choir. So I feel like the most challenging part was, first of all, shifting in between. But I feel the most challenging part is not necessarily dealing with the choir. They're amazing. Sometimes it's dealing with clients. And the logistics behind the things.
Yes! We have spoken about this so much on the podcast.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Clients are amazing because they do give you work.
Yeah.
But sometimes dealing with them, it's just the request, they're not giving the details, they're not, they're just not being clear.
I feel it's because they don't really understand what it means to work on an event as a musician.
Absolutely.
And how to coordinate everybody.
Yes.
And they make assumptions, or maybe they just forget about what's the easiest thing that you would think of: feed them.
Right.
Clearly.
Right.
For example, or give them water, they're singing, or we're not a karaoke, we don't have a repertoire of 200 songs, we prep the show for you.
You guys are a beautiful gospel choir. Do you know any rock songs? They just come up with this stuff
Right?
as well.
Yeah.
Do you know, do you do metal? Do you play heavy metal?
Yeah.
We
would like that,
true.
Do you know what you booked? Right?
So they have an idea of what they want and just that, but they don't think about everything before. What kind of planning that the choir leads are going to have to take to get ready for your event that you want.
No, they think you're you have a massive repertoire in your head, just ready to go.
Sorry, but when it comes to a group of people, you can't coordinate in them there. Maybe it's a little different if you're just yourself, as a singer and you're the only one performing. But it's a group of people, you can't really do things by command like that. Yeah,
no, and the beauty is also in the preparation,
100%.
getting there and knowing exactly what you're doing.
You're thinking about so many different things. You're thinking about the venue that you're going to be performing in, the people that are likely to be there, the person that's hired you, if it's for them or if it's for an organisation. So you're making all those plans, and then they come with all these different things that, did you not accommodate for this?
I know, and they make you feel a bit unappreciated as well,
You feel like you're crazy,
you don't expect, Mariah Carey green room, but at least a little bit of, regard.
Water.
Because we had a
tap water is fine. Sparkling if we're feeling like posh.
Right.
You know?
Right. But it's not a lot to ask, you know?
Listen, Kelvin, you started as a drummer, right?
Yes.
You started as a drummer. So when was the time where you were like, wait, I can sing. I might make it like my profession. And
oh gosh, we're talking a few years back now.
Yeah. Do you remember the moment where you were like,
not the exact moment, but I remember the period of time.
Period of time,
right?
yeah.
So I started off as a drummer. Long story short, my dad's pastor had a church, and he had to think of how he could create the infrastructure in-house.
Right.
So my oldest brother was playing an instrument, I took on the drums. I started that at the age of 9. Won't disclose how old I am now.
Wow.
But I'm not as young as you think.
Just a few years
Just
ago.
a few years ago, you know. So when I was in year 9, so that would have been the age of 13, 14. We set up this kind of like boys band in secondary school, and we called ourselves Crystal Clear. And we started just playing around something like this because our idols at the time was like Boys to Men and all those sort of R&B, Motown groups. So that's what we were, you know, sort of just dabbling with. We weren't taking it too serious.
Right.
But I went to an all-boys school. And we had someone from a music service that came in saying that they wanted to start a gospel choir. And we were like, okay, so what's this gospel choir going to be made of? And we're like, this school there. I'm like, oh, the Clapton Girls. Sorry, I'm saying the name out. So it was a girls' school. So we got it out. So it was a girls' school, and we thought, oh, awesome! We're in a boys' school, a girls' school. We get to mix. Nice.
Plus one.
So we were just there to get our mac on, and But when we arrived, there was a guy by the name of John Wayne Warren who was looking after the choir. He was from London Community Gospel Choir. That's another choir that we're part of as well.
Right.
And he saw something in me and my friends that went, and it wasn't just a joke for him. He's like, no, you have something, so let's take this a bit serious. And we were just like, all right, let's switch this on. So we started singing, just copying what he was telling us to do, repeating it back, and we were like, doesn't sound too bad. I think our confidence grew in that gospel choir at the age of 14 years old.
Crazy.
And he gave me definitely opportunities to do solos, and I didn't know what I was going to do. So then it sparked me to take singing at church a bit more seriously.
Right.
And I started leading some of the songs that we sing in church.
Right.
In front of family and friends. Yeah. So that's a bit more of a daunting experience. The people you don't know is like,
exactly.
But the people you do know is a bit more crazy. So
absolutely.
Yeah, at the age of 14, all of that started happening, and singing wasn't just a thing to do to, get closer to the ladies.
Yeah.
It was something
you found
that
a
I realized
passion that you didn't even know.
I found a few passions along the way, but that's how that started at the age of 14, if I remember
That's
correctly.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So something you never really thought about. No. And these guys like, come on, let me show you something. You're like, huh.
Definitely it wasn't something I thought about doing as in being part of a choir and performing in venues. Maybe in the house, I listened to Boyz II Men and I sing along, but that's as far as I was going to go at that time.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible that,
I love it. I love life. Life has literally its own ways, And you guys, so you sing in a choir together.
Yeah.
Okay. You have another project together. We're going to talk about this a bit later.
Yeah.
So you work a lot together.
Yeah, we do.
So, but you're also a couple.
We are.
So how do you find spending so much time together? Like, how do you deal with, let's say a big fight sparks, how,
but you're going to go there.
But you still, no, because, I always wonder, because, I do work with my husband as well, and I do know a few people that work together. So I kind of I want to know, how do you keep your cool? When, you got a gig together, you got to work together, you got to keep professional, but you still have the emotional part of it in you.
Well, I'll you can chime in after, but communication.
Yeah.
We're great communicators.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like, we talk about everything, things that have gone well, things that haven't gone well. The one thing I love about Christina is that she's not afraid to have the tough conversations, and she's not afraid to be accountable. And the same thing goes for me.
Nice.
Like, we will openly be like, okay, I messed up here. We'll get it right next time. And we'll have some hard conversations, but the good thing about it, every single time without fail, is like, we're always climbing. Amazing. After every conversation that's come up because of a disagreement, we've always become better, and we're always getting better every single time.
Yeah.
So
I feel
that's
that,
one thing,
yeah, for sure, communication is one of the most crucial element of, and that's why it works. We never go to bed without, making up, or at least talking about things. Sometimes maybe Keltney's a little longer than me. I have the Southern Italian passion in me, so I need to have it done. Let's talk about it.
You need to get there. You need to solve it.
Absolutely. But I think that another important thing that we are still working on is to give each other space and being very respectful of each other's presence and talent. We're both very ambitious. And because we work together, we love being, I would say, like, at the center of attention slightly, as every artist,
call it what it is.
Of course.
Yeah.
Call it what it is, yeah. And
so we are learning to give each other space, and kind of like be there for each other, step out when we have to, and step in when we have to, and support each other. So we've learned to kind of like communicate without talking to each other, just from afar.
Yeah.
I've learned the eyes.
Yeah.
Yes, the facial expression, like,
Because
says
before
it
I used
all.
to be. Now I don't do it anymore.
Now it's just how open, how
Right.
closed the eyes are.
Because we will have a language as a couple, and we understand that language, and it doesn't have to be spoken. So no one really needs to know about. Growing up, like in school, they used to have this language called backslang. I don't know if you heard it. It was like ibagoo, and I'll be like, "What are you guys talking about?" They knew.
Yes.
So we have our language.
Yeah,
no one
of
else needs to
course,
know.
of course.
But we know how to get out of each other's way. Like she said, we're both ambitious people. We like to be at the center of attention. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
but when
as
you're working
long
with
as
two
you
people,
can understand each other and give each other space.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just like letting the pride as well, just a bit out of your pockets, just leave it aside for a moment. Because sometimes, like, I am Italian as well. I'm very feisty, and when I feel things, I feel things. Like, whereas is happiness, I am literally like, I won the lottery and I'm number one in the world. Or I feel like I've been smashed by a tractor. It's really hard to have in between, but I've really learned, and I'm learning along the way, just to really like kind of filter the emotion as well. Do you know how think for 2 seconds before you say something? Right. I've never understood how important that is. Because for me it was like feel, say, or show, but it's really important to just like take a breath.
Yeah.
Does it really matter? Question number one.
Yeah.
Or does it really matter in that moment?
Right.
And especially with someone you're so close, sometimes you feel things a lot more, and especially when you're working together, like, sometimes you're like, woo, overwhelmed, but it's good to, like, as you said, communicate, just take a break, take a break as well, just like step aside and say, okay, maybe we can deal with this later.
100%.
But, we respect each other, so respect is good.
And especially because we come from two different backgrounds as well.
True.
Cultural backgrounds. So I'm Ghanaian, Italian, Southern Italian. So my country, we're known for being quite chilled. Not saying we don't have that side, but we're known for being very chilled and relaxed.
Right.
And you guys are known for just being very expressive and feisty and fiery, and it shows in like the body language.
Everything.
So
everywhere.
When we got together, that was something I needed to learn and understand, and she had to do the same thing here. So we had to
bit of calibrating.
Literally, and like it wasn't a thing of okay, this is just the way I am, so deal with it.
Oh, no. That's the worst thing
That's
to do.
the worst thing anyone could do. I don't really believe in that. I think everyone should be able to be a bit adaptable.
Absolutely.
So we had to learn each other's culture. She came to Ghana, I went to Naples.
Amazing.
So she could see that, oh, these people
raised you.
He's like that. And I could see, oh, so all this.
You understand a lot more.
I understand a lot more, even some of the phrases that she uses. So you don't take it too personal now, do you know what I mean?
That's really clever,
So with all that in mind, we've really been able to try and understand each other as a couple and in a professional sense as well.
Right.
So, yeah, I think it's a good duo.
It's working.
That's amazing. I love it. Thank you for sharing. That was lovely. I had a pick at your pages.
Ooh.
Okay. And I saw you both are writing original music.
Yeah.
Right. And I also went onto your Spotify pages.
Oh.
And I listened. They were amazing. I really, really love them. I love the songs. I love My Time. That was really good.
Oh, thank you.
And I think, let me see, one of my favorite of yours is probably, I like them all. I like New York.
I had a feeling you'll say that.
Yeah.
That's my favorite too.
Really, like, I love, like, it's just different from everything, you know, I would expect right now, like, to hear, you know. It just gave me a nice, kind of like joyful and hopeful kind of vibe. That was really good.
Yeah.
But then I went to see, and I think the last year where you released music, I think both of you, was it 2023?
Yeah,
or
it was
maybe
earlier than that.
Yeah, for you it was earlier than that.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, what is stopping you from releasing new music? And I am asking you this because I have written so many songs since I was little and I've never released anything. And every year I'm like, this year I am releasing my song. I'm really close this year and I will.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yes, write it down.
But yes. So, but I was wondering, they are really good. So it clearly is working, you know, like, because sometimes, you know, you write a song and it's like, yeah. But they were, they were all really good songs. So what is stopping you? And I'm asking both of you, like, from releasing new music.
I think we're going to probably give different perspective. First of all, because I only have one out and it took me a lot. So I always thought that I wasn't capable of doing anything like that until I realized I just have something to say. I just want to start expressing myself without worrying too much about the feedback and the outcome.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if I am not 100% happy. I just want to start doing and experiencing that.
Yes.
And at the time I was working with the producer. It isn't my favorite thing to do, working with the producer. It might take you time to find somebody that can understand you and be on the same wavelength. Sometimes, because I don't really have... currently, I have a little more experience in a recording studio, but at the time I certainly didn't have it. So I speak vocals, I don't speak instrument.
Right. Can you do da-di-da-di-da-di-da?
So that's definitely something that I would like to improve on, and I've definitely improved. So there is an element of language. There is an element of being on the same wavelength with somebody. There is an element of, there's a financial element.
Absolutely, guys.
In the past few years, I've definitely, my network has gotten bigger and bigger. So maybe I have more musicians and people that might want to get involved into my project. So there's a chance that I can start and do things on a budget.
Amazing.
So we have the idea of coming out with an EP this year.
You heard it here.
Yes. And it's just finding the right channels, the right people. I'm not, my hope is that of trying to find my sound, something that reflects not necessarily my chapter in life right now, but something that I look back and I'm like, yeah, I'm proud of that, I've done that. And that goes hand in hand with what's happening in your life.
Absolutely.
Mental health, whatever it is that's happening to you, that goes hand in hand with the creative part of you. And sometimes finding a balance is difficult, especially if you weren't brought up like that. So
really hard, you guys.
Yeah.
My gosh.
So that's been my struggle, getting better.
Yeah, yes. What about you?
I think for me, it started I think just before lockdown or during lockdown is when I first released my first single. Everything, and then I think I released another one shortly after, and then another one in I think 2023. And for me, it was, first of all, I realized, okay, I want it to sound like this now, and all of this costs a lot of money. So that was the first thing that just, I'm like, there must be a less expensive way of doing it. And a lot of mine has been procrastinating, not for other reason other than financial, but I went down different channels of having my music produced. I went down the channel of Fiverr. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yeah, of course.
And I found a guy
Amazing.
who I worked quite well with. So he was just building loads of productions,
Oh, that's amazing.
productions, to the point where I had too many. You know when you have too many
Overwhelmed.
options?
Yes, and then
it's
you
hard
don't
to-
do nothing.
Right, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So if you have fewer options, it's easy. Okay, once
Yeah,
I pick
yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Now I
yeah,
have
yeah.
like 8 or 9 or 10.
yeah.
I'm just like, oh
You don't
my
know where to
gosh,
start.
like, where do I start? And then I didn't have the right equipment. Then I finally had the right equipment, and then things sort of changed in life.
Right.
So I got to a point where I said, okay, I'm not going to focus on the releasing of music,
Yes.
but I will perform this music live and give it to that target audience. Because I think when you're releasing, and nothing against anyone who releases music and promotes it and just wants to get the streams up and all that stuff, the focus tends to be there and how much you're going to make from these streams, or how many streams are you going to make. And if you don't get enough views or streams, it means that your music's not good enough, and all of that stuff.
Sorry to interrupt, but like nowadays, unless you're a big, like very well-known stars, streams are basically like, they don't count nothing. Because you know,
can't
like
focus on that.
You can't focus on that because you
really
need like
can't.
millions of streams just to make, you know, a little
Millions.
money. So sorry, I bet you were saying that actually, you know, getting to perform live is the target.
Right.
You know.
So yeah, for me, I wanted to. So my songs have come from real life experiences, some experiences that I've witnessed and I've decided to write about.
Yeah.
And some experiences I hope for my life to be. So I've had different perspectives, and I said to myself, you know what? Let me perform these to people that I can see in front of me, and see how that message can just transfer to them. And let's see the wonder of that.
Yes.
I can't see what's happening globally if it reaches those masses globally. I don't know. I might get 200 people playing it.
Absolutely. And you don't even know whether, you know, like they're just playing it and then they're like, okay, does that count as a play? They just played it for like 15 seconds, skipped. You don't know.
You have no
Whereas
idea.
an audience, and I think like being there, like, oh my God, there's so much you can,
Oh, the power in that is beautiful, but in doing that, so I feel like we've been able to do that. And now people are saying, oh, look, I got that feeling when I heard that song. I really want to be able to keep on continue experiencing these feelings. How about releasing something so we can have that? Because there might be one song that really touched someone, and they want to have that. There might be a song that you've heard and it's helped you through a moment, or
absolutely.
It's helped you to build up to an interview or a gig or whatever.
How powerful,
So hence why we decided, you know what, we are going to go ahead and release that EP. Not because we want to get loads of streams, but just so we can have it out there for the people.
I think it's like, it's great to go back to the joy of creating without the master goal. You know, it's like, do you know, like, I want to like promote it and I hope like I just do it because I love it. Isn't that enough? You know, going back to the joy.
Right.
Like just the joy of being with someone, creating something, even just listening back. I remember when I was like 17, I recorded my first few songs and I would just put it in the car.
Okay.
Like that was the master test. It was like, let's see how it sounds in the car.
I did that on an Uber ride.
You know? and we were just like going through like the rice fields and listening like sunset. I was like, we need to put the bass up, you know, and I'm literally getting goosebumps that I haven't felt in a while, because now it's just like, well, I mean, I don't have enough followers and maybe I could buy an ad, you know. I lost that little spark that I definitely want to get back, you know, so I do totally appreciate that.
But there's also so many different things that, there's also the factor of life.
Yes,
there's a momentum that starts at a certain point in your life or a season in your life, and depending on how life approaches you, could be negatively, positively, or just it challenges you in a certain way, that could stop the momentum or motivate that momentum to keep going.
Absolutely.
So there's an element of those things that happen because we're humans, and you know, we all experience different versions of life.
100%.
And that can, depending on the time period that you're in, it can either inspire you to write another song, if you're in that space, or it could just delay, derail.
Totally, but I also believe that everything kind of happens for a reason, you know, like whenever you want to stop, 100%. You stop. Like, I don't want to use it as an excuse to be lazy, but you know, like,
it's definitely not.
I feel like sometimes you don't want to do anything, and it's okay, you don't do anything, and it's, you know, like, it's the time is going to come.
I think I had to work on that. I am one of those that are overproductive, and if I am not, I get bored in 2 seconds. So I had some tough time for the past 2 years, so now things are getting better, but that was the perfect time to kind of understand it is okay if you are tired.
Absolutely.
To just lie down on the sofa without thinking, just close your eyes.
Yes.
You don't have to do things right now. It's
be in
okay.
the moment.
Be in the moment. And that is definitely, I think that has definitely helped me in the process of songwriting, for sure. Accepting that, and that has kind of built the sound that I was looking for. Still in the process.
Well, I am looking forward to hearing new music. So you guys have an amazing project called Remetik. It's a platform for independent artists. Do you want to tell me more about it?
Yeah, so it's called Remetik Sessions. It was birthed birthed out of a day that we took a walk, one of our walks, a very long walk, and we had, you know, the walk inspired some discussions.
Yes.
And the topic was our artistry and performing, and how hard it is to get a chance to perform, because really and truly a person has control over who they're going to invite based on their followers or whatever. So we're going to start controlling this, and then we're going to now put on a show, and we're going to be in control, and the criteria is going to be much less than other people's.
Love it.
And it's going to be much more open, purely just based on your talent. And maybe you being on this platform and us promoting what you've done on the platform could help you gain your followers if that's what you're trying to achieve. So that's the thing behind Remetik Sessions, is basically to give a platform for ourselves as well as independent artists just trying to make it, you know, talented independent artists.
Yeah, so how does it work? So like, do you get the artists? Do the artists get, you know, like get in touch with you?
It's a mix. So obviously we do have our Instagram account.
Yes, we're going to link it in the description.
Yes, please. There's a combination of us looking for the right artist, some artists reaching out to us, and us also joining some events. It's happened before. We found an independent artist performing somewhere in central London, and we reached out to her, and she was really interested. She came and supported our first event, and then the one after.
Sorry to interrupt. Do you do it at Pizza Express all the time? Is that where you do it?
Yeah.
Currently, yes.
Okay.
Hoping to expand as well. Right now, this channel is working, so we have our next one coming up on the 19th of May. And yes, usually the format is, inviting two artists. It took a time, I would say, to shape. The concept was clear, but to shape and test things out. I feel that right now we are in a good place where there's normally two artists opening up for us. and this is pretty much to create a platform for them as well as for us, I would say.
Oh, amazing.
So yeah, it's worked out really nicely.
So do you have your own band? Is there like specific musician, like the house band, and then, you know, the artist just, can they bring their band? How does that work?
So currently what the format isn't, like Christina said, we're still shaping.
Yeah.
We found something that works, but it doesn't, you know, we're open to,
of course,
to improving. So the first acts are usually acoustic acts.
I love it.
And from time to time, if they really want to show off how they sound live, then we're all up for it. But currently the format is 2 independent artists acoustically.
Yes, and then we come with a full band.
Oh,
BVs and everybody.
Yeah. 19th of May, I want to be there.
Yeah. Yes. It's great. It's inspirational. It's moving.
Yeah, I think it's great what you're doing, because like some artists find it really difficult to find someone, or like Pizza Express. You know, it's quite popular. So like getting to, but even just having a stage, whatever stage that is, it's really hard. So you giving these opportunity, it's fantastic. Like, how often do you normally do that? Is there a certain kind of like period of time?
I think we are going for 3 times a year, roughly. This is our 2nd year.
This is, I think this will be the 7th or 8th.
Yes, actually, yes. Because we started off in Hackney first, and this will be our 5th, probably at Pizza Express.
Yeah, I think this is our either our 4th or our 5th one at Pizza Express. I can't remember.
Amazing.
So the next one will be at Pizza Express in Holborn. We've done a couple in Chelsea. And a previous one in Holborn as well. So
Christina basically does all the arranging for the material.
It's so much fun.
Of course.
Original vocals is so cool.
Oh my god, I'm obsessed with harmony. Whenever literally I'm recording, or if I'm, because I do help like young artists record as well. So if we go to the studio and you know, they're like, I got this melody, so I kind of help them as well, stack vocals. And whenever I go through the project, it's like 100 vocals, and I'm like, oh my god. So I totally get the passion about vocals.
I think the hardest thing we find is that when we're just limited to 3 BVs,
it's like, hard.
You've got like about 6 different harmonies you want to add, but like, okay, live it.
Yeah. Can you do 2 at once?
I think that probably another thing that I'd like to add about Remetik Sessions, it's that there is, what we are trying to promote is also how important it is to support other artists. So we do it ourselves as well, as in the amount of times that we have put up events and we have offered, maybe obviously Kel is a drummer as well. He may have offered, to play some drums, or I have offered my vocals to the singers, just because we would really like for them to be happy with that little set.
Well done, you guys. I'm really excited for you, and I can't wait to come and see you.
Please.
Well, okay, so you're going to be there, all right.
Put it in my calendar, yes.
So you put that in your calendar, and that you're going to release music. Got it.
Yes.
Cool.
That's my manifestation. I'm like, you guys.
You heard it here.
Come on.
On sale this Friday if you want to see Billy Ocean.
I saw on your Instagram page that you are going to be having a workshop. What is all this about? Please tell me about it.
So the next one is going to be the 9th of May, open to all levels. It's going to be a group workshop focusing on vocal technique, performance, breathing. I think the idea started out because we are part of this community choir. We realized that there is something that we can potentially pass on. It's coming from the humble perspective of these people have a desire of learning more. And we had so many conversations, tiny little tips about nerves, or a little more specific into technique, vocal technique, and it's just been a journey, just having those conversations. And we thought, why don't we just
not
put
sharing
everything?
it?
And we have a live band for that.
Stop! No. These guys have it all. Pretend you're an agent. What could you do to make the music industry better? What would you do to make musicians' life better?
Okay, well, forget about the followers that you have on Instagram. Let's start there. I feel like there are so many artists. I don't know how many times I've been approached by people wanting money to gain more followers. And And obviously, and I've seen it all myself, you know, tried to apply for things and I've been asked to bring people, or they only approach you if you have at least over 1,000, I believe.
Yes.
And I am really trying to navigate this social media situation, but it's really not me.
It's so hard.
It's difficult. You end up having to sort of like lose yourself.
Yes.
In getting followers, doing things that is unnatural to you.
Yes, I do get, like, sometimes I think about it and I do get it a little bit like actors, they play a part. You know, pop stars, they play a part. You know, so I'm like, should I play my part? You know, it's just really hard though when you're not, when you're so attached to like your true self, or when you don't want to lose yourself, to just like say, I do it because I feel like I have to, but then I'm like, oh.
It's that feeling of you have no other choice but to, because that's just how the world works right now.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think if I was an agent, one of the things I would stop it saying is, so I remember when I started doing gigs and I had an agent that asked me to do a gig, and one of the things they asked was, I think you might have had the same experience. If you bring this much people, then we'll pay you this much. If you bring this much.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, it's either you're going to pay the person and what amount you're going to pay them, or you don't.
Exactly.
Because having that pressure of, I need to get these people to get this, it takes your focus off preparing a good set to just, you know, a new audience.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? So if I was an agent, I would definitely remove that and just say, you know what, we can pay you this and that's it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, these are all very good inputs. Like, let's take music back. Guys, agents, we got this interview, we got so much to work on to change the music business.
Yeah, for real.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having us.
That was so
Lovely
fun. Thank you for sharing your experiences and your project, Remetik. Everybody, 19th of May in Soho, Auburn.
Yes.
We wish you all the very best for the future. You're amazing.
Thank you so
Good
much.
luck to you as well, yeah?
Thank you so much.
Looking forward to hearing that.
We'll try.
We'll see you next time.